boy Jared out here in Sherbet doing a build breakdown on this thing, man. Finally out here on the tire. It's a little intro, gassing up. When we get back to that house, we'll do the walkthrough and name off everything and whatnot, but wanted to show y'all what we're riding in. This thing is so sick. It's got drift angle, I think it's called camber kit or angle kit up front on it. Nasty built motor and whatnot. This thing is detailed, man. He even got the probes in there for EGTs. So, man, they did an awesome job on this build, and I feel like everybody should see it. So we'll do a video on it. Like I said, I'll get back with y'all in a second. We're gonna make a hit in it, see how she feels on these tires. It'll be his first time for him. We're gonna make a draggy hit, and then we'll walk through it and I'll tell y'all everything about it, or I'll have him tell you. The tires off, or it's spinning the clutch. Yeah, you might be making too much for this clutch setup. Yeah,
I'm pedaling it.
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it. Clean them color. Gotta get in front of them. Turn right there. Dang, man, race car with AC is crazy. This man got me wanting to make bad decisions. This setup is so freaking cool. This man's got everything in there. Alright, so we just got back from riding this thing. Freaking nasty, by the way, if you can't tell by the videos. But I'm not gonna put him on camera, but I'm gonna ask him some questions, you guys just listening. So first off, what year is the car?
It's a 2006.
And it's a base model, right?
It's a base model Z51 package.
Sick, sick. Alright, how long have you had the car?
I think it's been like 4 years now.
So, alright, alright.
Yeah, when I got it, it had a LS2 in it. The LS3 top end, it already had the cam down and stuff, so bad tune. So.
Alright. What so you just redid the motor and then just decided to just go full blown? Did it happen in stages, or you just like, screw it, I'm just gonna go full retard on it?
Well, first I wanted to do nitrous because it's supposed to be easy, and it is easy, but there's some mistakes I made, stuff I learned that I would do differently now. And if I was to build another car again and wanted to keep it simple, I think I'd probably still do nitrous. but basically I had a timing controller malfunction. So
Ooh.
instead of flashing in between two tunes like I should have been doing with my laptop, I wanted to have the timing controller that did it for me, so I could stay on the same tune all the time. Well, that malfunctioned, and I sprayed a 200 shot on full timing.
Ooh.
And melted. It looks. I finally looked at the motor. It looks like it just melted an exhaust valve. So.
Oh, okay.
But
nice.
Right when that motor blew up, I had already been piecing together the stuff for the turbo kit, and that was right around a year waiting for that engine to be built by my buddies out in Albany, Oregon, Nemesis.
Okay. Speaking of, what is the engine setup?
It's a 388 RHS block, flow 245 heads.
Sick.
Callie's Ultra, H-beam, connecting rods, all that, Wiseco pistons. So still wet sump.
Oh, dope. For people that don't know, we talked about that a little bit with the Corvette being dry sump. So I think I prefer the wet because it's simpler and less components and stuff and whatnot. But I mean, to each their own. But so what did you do for fuel system?
So on the nitrous, I did a twin 4 setup with like a 455 and a 485, something like that. I forget what the actual numbers were. But then this go around, we did a triple fuel pump setup. Nice. So it's got 3 what are they, 485s, or I forget what they actually are.
Okay.
I know the TI Automotive number is like 274. So
gotcha.
That's what they recommended to me. They said it should be enough for like 1,500 wheel horsepower on 85.
Sheesh.
So the fuel system's there.
Speaking of power levels, how much do you think it makes? Honestly, I think you're up there to be slipping the clutch the way that it is.
I don't know.
I think it's up there.
That's everyone's first question, and we're supposed to be dynoing it soon. I'm kind of scared of the dyno because I hurt the motor on the last time I was on a dyno. So
yeah, it's definitely a nerve-wracking experience, man. It definitely is. I was terrified when I did the Camaro.
Yeah, and my tuner's got a set of hub dynos in his backyard.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, like we're gonna do one hit and then lay low for an hour and then do one more hit. I don't know.
I don't blame you, man. I really don't. Like I said, I was terrified. I had the boost set to do 15 pounds on the street, and then I got on that hub dyno, and then it hit boost cut immediately because the load was a whole lot more different. And then I was like, yeah, no, this is not gonna work. So I turned it down, and then I made the numbers that I made. Well, I made a little bit less than that actually, and then I tried to turn it up some more, and then it still only made like 12 pounds or something. Like it was like 12 or 13 pounds, and then it made the 900 foot-pounds. I was like, yeah, I should probably stop. So I'm just gonna go home. The car runs, it drives. So I think she'll hold up though. I think the only thing that's probably gonna try and fight you is that clutch, because I think for the 1-to-1 it needs to do that, you got to be in fourth, right?
Yeah, fourth gear. So
yeah,
it's gotta hold some power. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure I have as much weight. So the clutch is a slipper clutch, and it's fully adjustable. You can turn up the base pressure, which is like your initial grab, basically, of the clutch, and then you can add weights to these levers that are on there. And once you get up to a certain RPM, depending on how much weight you have on those levers, it'll start to grab once you get up there. So it shouldn't be slipping. So I'm not sure what's happening, honestly. Maybe it's wheel spin, maybe it's the traction control kicking in, but it still feels good.
Oh yeah, definitely. But once you get that figured out though, it's gonna feel like a whole different car. Guarantee it. Because like I said, when it didn't slip and we were doing that second gear hit further down Apex, like, dude, it felt good. It was pinning me in the seat. I was like, okay, yeah, that's it right there. Did you do axles?
Nope.
You on stock axles?
I'm on stock axles. So that's supposed to be the whole thing, is that the clutch keeps the car together and allows me to run stock everything behind it.
Nice.
So,
okay.
And then another big problem with Corvettes is like wheel hop.
Yep.
So I got videos of the rear wheel moving back and forth in the wheel well right as I snap an axle. And it's actually like the control arm bushings that flex.
Really?
So you send your control arms out and they'll put in these spherical bearings in there, and they stop all the flex in the control arm.
Nice.
So it's got spherical bearings on the rear control arms, upgraded sway bar. Same thing with the rear tow rod. It can flex too, so it's got a Heimed rear tow rod too.
Now, how did you do you like the coilover feel over the cause what they come with the, what do they call that thing?
Monoleaf.
Yeah, that leaf, that single leaf that just goes straight across. But guys, if you did not know, if you're not a local and know this car, he also drifts this thing. So, I mean, you see the handbrake and whatnot, and this thing's got a crazy angle on it. So that makes sense. How hard of an install was that?
The angle kit?
The coilovers.
The coilovers? Oh, 2 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, pretty simple.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this thing is freaking sick. So, for those, like I said, that don't know, I guess it's safe to say this is like a all-around build car for you, huh? It's like more, you can do drift, you can do drag, you know, you just throw a set of wheels on it and do whatever that it is that you want to do with it.
I won't say I know how to drift. I definitely do not, but the car is maybe capable of it. It's kind of the goal, is to do whatever I want with the car. So I was hoping that, you know, a wheel change, a suspension adjustment, maybe a turbo swap if we need to, be able to switch the car from a drag setup to a street or drift setup. And it does have the handbrake. I like to call it a staging brake.
Yeah, you can use that for too. Cletus does it. Cletus does it.
So same kind of setup. So I wanted it to be dual purpose for sure.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all, man. Nothing wrong with that at all. For the people, because I got in on the solenoids, because you explained to them what that actually is.
So this has got CO2 boost control, and basically there's 2 solenoids. They're hooked up to a CO2 bottle in the back, and it's hooked up to the wastegate. So that means I can run a 3-pound spring in the wastegate, which means when the CO2 is off, it's going to run 3 pounds boost.
Right.
And that's basically the lowest amount of boost that we can run. And it can maintain that 3 psi too. So it'll creep up a little bit in 4th gear and whatnot, but it's still really controllable. But then I open that CO2 bottle and I can go through as many different stages of boost as I want, and basically have any number between 3 and 50 pounds of boost if I want it.
That is nuts.
So
that is nuts. Man, look at those steam lines. Freaking clean. As you can see, man, no expenses was spared on this thing. That's one thing I love about him, is he does it right. You see those studs down there poking out, if you know what you're looking at. Very, very clean setup. One thing I will lastly get into is explain us the computer setup on this thing, because that's like one really unique thing about this that not a lot of people go through the trouble of doing. Is how you got it piggybacked with the factory stuff and how all of that stuff works. So touch on that a little bit for us.
So when I heard the last motor, I had all these add-on modules trying to make the stock computer do all this additional stuff that I wanted it to do. And after I heard it, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna trust one of these add-on modules. I'm just gonna go to a full standalone system. So everyone does Hollies and stuff like that, but they have a hard time getting the original stuff on the car to still work with the Holley standalone.
Yep.
So this car's got a Max ECU in it, and one of the things that they offer is a plug-and-play harness. And they actually, you hit a couple drop-down boxes, and you can go into CAN protocol, and it's like they have E38 GM ECU protocol in there already. So all the factory gauges still work. You like plugged it in. If it wasn't for the boost and all that stuff, like I could have started it up myself, and it was a really simple install. It plugs right into you unplug your ECU, plug in the Max ECU in the same connector, and that's it. You're like ready to play.
That's pretty sick.
So,
that's pretty sick.
But once you have that CAN protocol identified, it allows you to do a bunch of other cool stuff too. So like AC control is there, stuff like that. And then we still have traction control that uses the factory wheel speed sensors. And the traction control switch inside, the factory one, is a CAN switch. And you're able to open up Max ECU software, identify that traction control switch as an input. And now you can control outputs with it.
That's
so now,
dope.
When I hit the traction control switch, I've got 10 different stages of motorsport style traction control, not the normal kind where it just slams the throttle shut. It takes away all the power. It actually is looking to target a slip between the front and rear wheels
Wow. Wow. And then I don't know if I caught it in the video, but this button here on the end is your rolling anti-lag, right?
Yeah. So like I think that's your cruise coast.
Yeah.
Cruise
Yeah.
coast.
Yeah.
You would hold that in. Instead on this car, it's the rolling anti-lag, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then same thing like the cruise or like cruise plus, like the accelerate button.
Mm-hmm.
That cycles through 5 different boost maps.
That's sick.
Like, if you're gonna wire all that stuff up to a steering wheel control, that would take a lot of time. But
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure.
plug in the ECU, identify the can, and bam, you like have stuff wired up. You didn't have to do any wiring at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy about being able to do that kind of stuff with it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is really, really cool. As far as trans, diff, and all that stuff, that's all stock, right?
Yep. So it's got the Black Magic Defiant 3-lever adjustable clutch in there, and then it's got solid aluminum drive shaft couplers, and then it's a stock trans, stock diff.
Nice.
I kept breaking reman axles. They're like twigs, but the stock OEM axles actually hold up. And I still, everyone always says like, oh, put some drive shaft shop or whatever. Crazy 1,000 horsepower axle on there. And then what do those guys do? They go make a hit and snap the input shaft off their transmission.
Yep.
So I still want that axle to be the weak link.
And
I wanted to get the thing
smart.
dialed. I want to get the thing dialed to where it's like, all right, we know how much we can turn it up before we snap an axle.
Yep.
And then maybe we play with turning it up past there. But
Yeah, he just dropped a real gem on y'all, man. If you into this kind of stuff, you want to get into this kind of stuff, leave a easily accessible weak link that can just be switched out like an axle or something like that. Because like you said, you'll beef up everything else. And then, you know, say you're saving up money still to do the internals on like transmission, like you said, and you break an input shaft. Now you got a lot of labor and a lot of money ahead of yourself, other than just hitting the dealer or O'Reilly's or Rock Auto or something and grabbing another axle and just having some on hand as spares if you don't want to turn it down to where it won't break them. But not a lot of people think that out and go that route. I myself have done it, but I learned, and on the Camaro that I definitely did that. I was bone stock rear end axles and all of that stuff. I just made it to where something else was easily breakable and replaceable, so where I didn't have to touch any of that stuff. But I'm gonna wrap this up, man. Appreciate you so much for your time, taking us for a ride and let us check this thing out, man. I've been meaning and wanting to do this for a long time now. I'm glad I finally got to ride in it. I will keep you guys updated after he dynos it with numbers and whatnot. I'm gonna guess, I think you're close to 4 digits. I think you're really close, like within 100 or 150 horsepower of 4 digits, if you can get it to stop pushing through the clutch. I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty confident in that, because like I said, when it grabbed and it didn't slip, it pulled pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. So I'm excited to see what this thing makes. But I love this thing, man. AC looks like this, sounds like it did before. I mean, you just can't beat it, man. You just can't beat it. And you're banging gears the entire time. We were breaking necks everywhere. People just looking and staring. Definitely miss being in a toy like this. Can't wait to get mine going. It'll be nowhere near the caliber of this thing, but still be a good time. But yeah, man, thank you for being the first build breakdown of the channel. If y'all want to see certain other things, let me know, and I'll try to do better on the next one. But you know, we're just going with the flow type of thing on this one, and just having a good time and showing y'all what's out here in the Vegas car scene. It has cool cars out here, and I'm going to try my best to show you guys, because a lot of them don't get recognition. And one major thing that we have to leave off on is this man did this himself. Him and his wife in the garage. Like a good, huge majority of this stuff did it himself.
I don't know about all that. I got a lot of people to shout out.
Okay.
I don't build engines. I don't fabricate. You know, there's some wiring stuff I definitely needed help with. So, can I get my shout outs out there?
Oh, for sure. Go ahead.
Right. Jesse Brown with JB Tech Racing. Justin Carpenter. Russ Barber and Gabriel from Nemesis Customs. They built the motor. So, huge shout out to all those guys, and yes, of course, my wife. We have a lot of hours in this thing for sure.
Yeah. I'll be seeing y'all post, man. Y'all be in the garage grinding, like how y'all made that shroud up there, and I've seen this man have the full cradle out of this thing. He's over here talking. He's like, it's not that bad. It's pretty easy. I'm like, I don't know about that, man. But he definitely knows his way around this thing. We're going to be collabing with him for sure on our build and all the tips and tricks and stuff to try to keep that thing together. But don't let this man downplay, y'all. He be putting in a lot of work. I've seen him do it. He does a lot of stuff. And this is pretty cool because, I mean, this is shop level quality. Like, shoot, there's some shop cars out of here that ain't even close to being as good as this, especially when it comes to like how everything is wired up and working properly. Definitely a sick build, and like I said, try to bring some more y'all way as willing as the owner. So sit tight. I'll catch y'all on the next one. We are out of here.